Hey YouTube, Gundam here. Welcome back to Space Engineers. First off, I need to make sure that I don't deal with COPA suing me for $42,000 per video. So I'll be doing that sporadically throughout all my videos from now on. I should have probably done it with the previous, but yeah, it's basically if you hear me say shit fuck unapologetically and without bleeping it, that's just for COPA. So yeah. I still don't know if it affects people who don't care about grabbing monetization. I don't want to take the chance, not with $42,000 per video. So, this is the weaponized version of the Thrawn class Imperial Star Destroyer. Let's go over what it has. I've color-coded things to make it a little bit easier. These single-barreled are, well, single guns, and double-barreled, if I can find one around here, I believe there's one over here. That's a single. That's a single. That's a double. Double-barreled versions, of which there are some, are dual of those guns, whatever it may be. If I can find one of those yellow ones. Oh, they're over here, that's right. Yeah, it's a little tricky to find the singles versus the duals. So, yeah. So, let's go over what everything is. Yellow stands for heavy turbo laser. Green stands for turbo laser. Blue stands for ion cannon. Do remember that these are supposed to be triple heavy laser cannons. They're supposed to be like a secondary gun. The model is definitely not to scale. None of the models on these is anything. I'm just going over what there is here. So the standard gun is the smaller one. The heavy is the larger one. And again, you have your singles and duals. Yeah, yellow for yellow for heavy turbo, green for turbo, blue for ion. Red is your point defense. So you see all these red guns everywhere? That's point defense. They're supposed to be mixed between dual heavy laser cannons, point defense guns like on the Ghost or the Venator, or quad rails, quad laser cannons, not heavies, like what the Millennium Falcon's equipped with. It's supposed to be mixed. So you'll see that everywhere. So, what do we have? Up front we have in the trench we have a mixture of heavy turbo lasers and turbo lasers. It seems to be more heavy turbo lasers, and it is, as there's quite a few heavy turbos, as the standard turbo lasers will put elsewhere. There's the occasional ion cannon and heavy ion cannon mixed around as well. And we do have a few point defense guns and some turbos and an ion cannon, or the triple secondary guns near the forward hangars. Some more heavy turbos and turbos. Now this is supposed to be that dual rotary mass driver that, like on the Vengeance class, you go to Star Wars Empire at War Forces of Corruption mod, you take a look at that Vengeance destroyer, which has two dual rotary mass drivers. This thing's equipped with 6. Oh, by the way, the red up there is completely different from the other reds. I'll get to that later. This is equipped with 6 rotary mass drivers. Again, that's the Hoth-sized ion cannon, the really big one. These are heavy ion cannons. These are ion cannons. So, yeah, those are pretty big. Point defense. Some point defense is mixed in the trench, and a lot of the point defense is across the hull of the ship. Now, what these color patterns are is representing missiles or torpedoes. This one, which you'll see majority around the ship, these are the anti-fighter concussion missile launchers. It's a little difficult, which is why I put it over here. This is the easiest to tell. This color is your anti-fighter missiles. This color is your anti-capital concussion missiles. Think the difference between a Sparrow or a Sidewinder and a cruise missile, okay? And then these tannish ones are your proton torpedoes. So a lot of anti-capital missiles there, and on the bottom of the ship, don't forget that. But on the bottom, you do have some anti-fighter missiles in batches, just to make it murder for fighters. Around the bridge, we do have some single turbos, single heavy turbos, And the dual turbos are across near the bridge as well, along with some singles and more of these triple heavy secondary guns. Is that a single? Yes, it is. And around the back is where you'll find the majority of the dual heavy guns. Actually, if I check over here, those are singles. And, yep, those are heavy ion cannons and heavy turbos. These are singles here. But, around here, these are all duals. 4 dual turbo lasers, along with 4 single turbo lasers, and then what's there? You have several point defense guns, and those triple heavy guns, which are secondaries. I think they'd act more like flak. But then, of course, you have those 4 main battery guns. That is just murder. Covering the bridge with quite a bit, but then we get to the red guns that are here, with a couple on the bottom of the ship. These are the same models as the others. Now, the red ones should be point defense, but these red guns, those are the sniper turbo lasers. There's a mod, I forget if it was Thrawn's Revenge or Empire War Remake mod, that introduced a frigate that had 2 sniping turbo lasers and a couple point defense guns. That's what these red ones are. There's 2 on the bottom, 2 singles up top here, and 2 duals up top. So, yeah, where are those others? They're the big... There they are. It's pretty obvious. So, yeah. And, yes, to cover the bottom, that's where they are. You have a lot more dual turbo lasers and those triple guns there. No point defense near here. That's okay. Some weaknesses. And besides, it's very small, and you have a lot of other guns, those triple guns all around. And there's not too much there. I mean, you got a few missiles, but... turbo lasers and those triple guns, it'll be nice. Those are anti-capital missiles. Plus, they have to run a gauntlet, and once they get behind it, well, you do have the engine area, which is, not too covered, but it's covered enough. It's okay. You'll still die if you go over there. So, a few sniping turbo lasers, those triple heavies. These are, where are they? Those are single heavies. Single heavy, here they are. There are not too many dual heavy turbo lasers. I thought putting them on the superstructure would be better than putting them in the trench, because the trench is taken up by, well, all of this. You do have the majority of the firepower along the trench, yes. But I've spread out a lot of the firepower to better cover the ship. Well, okay, the majority of the firepower is in the octuplets, these gargantuan beasts. Which, yes, on this model, as I forgot on the original to angle it, yeah. So, I definitely should have done that on the original. My apologies. So, this is the weaponized ship. The weapons have been put in. Yeah. Point defense guns are everywhere, which should make it a nightmare to get into, like these dead zones, which are near the back of PDCs. But, again, it's not... the bridge is heavily covered. First off, you have a couple dual turbo lasers, a couple snipers, which won't deal with much, but triple guns up top, and several point defense guns covering the bridge. So, there's that. You have these engines, which are heavily covered. So having that little weakness here, it's not such a weakness, as there are point defense guns around it, and there are quite a few guns in it that will have overlapping fields of fire. It just makes the main guns a lot better at killing people. So, yeah. I have increased from 12 to 18 on the dual turbo lasers. But other than that, I believe I've kept everything the same. The missiles are a little meh. I didn't really know, so I've just, I've done what I could. Like, anti-fighter spread across, while all the anti-capital stuff, the missiles and torpedoes, is over here. All the torpedoes are on the top. There are some missiles on the bottom. You probably move those if you wanted to, but yes. You do have the anti-fighter missiles across. But these are all of your proton torpedoes here on the other side. So there's that. Yeah. I definitely, in case you're wondering, yes, this is the sensor unit. It's not too great. But the shield bulbs have been intentionally moved out of the way. And yeah, the whole thing dropped down. But it just makes it a lot less of a weakness. And the bridge being there and heavily guarded, dual turbo lasers, heavy turbo lasers, you got to run a gauntlet plus this huge gauntlet of point defense guns. Again, the whole ship is not supposed to be blocky. It's supposed to be smooth like a Star Destroyer. With little greeblies here and there, but nah. I think they would eliminate the greeblies in the trench, so you give the guns a better field of fire, and eliminate some of the greeblies along the superstructure. Maybe not. I don't know. It depends. Tractor beams. Tractor beams should probably be... Well, you have a few tractor beams supposed to be around the hangar. Oh, yeah. The main hangar has the 6 bottom dual heavy turbo lasers, and it's covered in point defense guns. Again, I do think it would be a good idea to have it a little spread out in key locations like the hangar, or coming along to reach near the bridge, around the bridge, engines. But a lot of the firepower is in the trench, with some missiles right there. Those are anti-fighter missiles. I think there'll be a couple tractor beams there. And, of course, the main firepower is, whoa, lag spike. Those big guns there. Okay, I'm going to call this a day. This is the weaponized version. I'm going to launch this, and yeah, enjoy.